What's up, guys? So yeah, I'm about to pop my black magic cherry, and I thought I would invite y'all in to be witness, as it were. Now, technically, I have done what may be considered black magic in the past. I've done plenty of bindings, banishings, and exorcism spells. But that was always on either disharmonious energies or entities. I've never actually done anything like that on a human being, on a living being. But there's a first time for everything. I've talked about it in the past. My father and I have a very tumultuous relationship. For the past 5 or 6 years, we've gotten along okay since my mother died. Well, I guess 7 years. Well, the first year he was iffy, but he came over today and we had a blow up. I'm not really going to get into what it was about, but my father did something without my consent that possibly put me in danger, really. Not physical danger, but legal or, identity theft, things. But at any rate, possibly put myself and maybe my husband and my children in a sort of dangerous situation. And honestly, for the past 6 years, I've had as little contact with my father as humanly possible. When he stormed out after, acting like I'm in the wrong, the last thing he said was, I'll never come here again, basically. And I don't believe that. I'm his only family. My brother and my mother are dead. I'm all he's got left. One of his sisters lives nearby, and his brother lives a few hours away. But really, I'm all he's got. So I imagine eventually he'll either realize he was wrong, which he'll never admit, or he'll just come around and, act like nothing happened, which is his MO. Or bribe me with money or something. But really, I'm just done. I've been done, but I am really done. My father has told me to my face that he never wanted me and blah, blah, blah. I mean, he's said some really ugly things to me, and I've always just, that's my father. But I'm just done. I'm just over it. So, I'm going to make a hot foot jar. So, please, join me. I have all my ingredients and the tools that I will be using laid out. So, almost immediately after my father left, because he did this blowout in my living room, I went ahead and I smudged. And here are the ashes from the Palo Santo and the dragon's blood infused sage stick that I used. That is going to be my personal starting point. This is my rendition of the hot foot jar, but I got the inspiration from Swamp Water Conjure Botanica. I will leave a link in the description to the video. I've only watched the one video, but I really enjoyed it, so I'm going to check him out further. So if you're interested, you should check it out. Okay, so I've got my ash here from the smudge I did immediately upon his departure. And I'm going to add to that some black pepper and some cayenne pepper. Now I have a lot more black pepper because obviously cayenne pepper has a way bigger kick. I'm going to add that. I've already called in my ancestors and my mother and my brother in particular because they know what I'm fucking dealing with. And I will be feeding my anger, my resentment, my pain, everything this man has caused me. I'm going to feed into this concoction, into this jar, the whole time that I'm doing this. And I will focus on it much more intently after I stop filming. So I add the pepper both cayenne and black, to heat this up, to get it moving, to make shit happen. I also want to add in some red pepper flecks as well. Same reason. Ooh, I put a lot in there. Oh well, that's fine. I want this sucker. I do not wish anything bad on my father. I want him to have a wonderful, blessed, happy life. I just don't want to be part of it anymore. I'm done. And I want to make that point clear with this spell. So next I'm going to add some cinnamon. And I'm adding the cinnamon because it's an energy amplifier. It's got that fire, that heat, that fire association. Again, energy, one of the properties, is power and success. I want this to be successful. So I'm adding the ground cinnamon for that purpose. I will also be adding ground ginger, and that is for its properties of exorcism and, again, the power amp and the success. Also, ginger has a heat to it as well. I'm going to add some sulfur. It is a traditional ingredient in Hotfoot, but I love working with sulfur, so I'd put it in there anyway, but it has protective and warding properties, so that's part of what I'm doing with it. I'm going to add some red poppy, even though I don't have much left. It's a good cause. And red poppy, I'm adding the red poppy for invisibility. I want to be invisible to this man. I don't want him to even remember that I exist. I just don't want to be seen. I don't want to be bothered. I'm adding datura for the same reason. Datura can also cause hallucinations and things of that nature. Now, I'm not interested in making him go crazy or anything, but I'm not putting it in with that intent or that energy. But if there is some confusion that blocks me from him, I will take it. I'm going to break this up a little. Okay, next I'll be adding in a bit of terracotta dust because I love working with terracotta dust. It's very, it has a high iron concentration, so it's good for protection and for grounding and for change. I'm all about the change. I need the situation to change for the better for me. Last but not least, some good old snake skin. Snake skin is used in love spells. It's used in hexing and things of that nature too. I'm not trying to hex him. Like I said, I just want to get rid of him. My purpose for this, why I'm using this snake skin, is for change, for release, and for warding. I want him to release me as I release him. Go be happy. Go be happy without me. All right, I'm going to give all this a good mix. And I'm going to start actively feeding it. I'm going to have time while it does its thing later to be feeding it because I got 40 years worth of shit, y'all. All right, next, I'm going to add it to my jar. I'm adding a piece of petrified wood to my jar. This is to give this spell longevity and to ground it, make it solid. If I had some swamp water, I'd pour it in to bog this shit down, but I unfortunately don't. I do know a swamp witch. I need to get up with her and get some, because this is the direction my life is going. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Now, my jar isn't full, as you see, and I would like it to be. So to fill it out, make it solid, and bind it all together, I'm going to add some black sand. Hold on, I want to shake this up a little bit. And of course, black sand is good for banishing and binding and all those nice dark things we witchies do. That actually smells pretty freaking amazing. So I'm going to stop with that for a moment because next I am adding this bloodstone, and I'm adding that for invisibility. Once again, just forget I exist. This is my paper for my petition, and the way that it was described on the video from Swampwater Conjure Botanica is the way I'm going to go about it. So first you write the name of the individual that you're trying to hotfoot 3 times in the center, and then you turn the paper clockwise. It's because you want this to be an ongoing process. You're not trying to go backward, you're trying to go forward. And you write what you want. You know, get out of my life, leave me alone, never talk to me again. Whatever it is, 3 times without picking up your pen the entire time. And then fold your paper away from you, turn it clockwise, fold it away from you, fold it up as many times as you want, and add it to your jar. So I'm going to do that real quick. Now it looks like chicken scratch, but I wrote them on top of each other 3 times without picking up my pen. You see my little marks. And my father has 2 names. A birth name and a name that he has always been referred to as, and actually has legally changed his name to. So I wrote both. Now I'm going to write my actual petition, my request. So I'm going to fold it away, turn clockwise, fold it away, turn clockwise, fold it away, and now I'm going to bury it in my jar. Get a little assistance from my handy dandy spoon. I guess I shouldn't have filled it up quite so high to start with, but I'm just going to put more sand in it anyway. I'm going to shake it up. Give it a good shake. And then fill that sucker to the brim. Now, I am going to light, he used a red to speed the process up, add power. I am going to use a black and a red candle. For me, black is a combination of all colors, and it's a huge power amp. And I associate black with releasing and banishing and all that good stuff anyway, even if gray might be a closer match. And I will use the red, just as he did as well. So I'm going to burn these down, and the entire time feeding that intent into them, as much as I'm not distracted by everyday life stuff. You know, it takes a little while for these candles to burn down, but then later this afternoon when my husband gets off work, he's going to take me out to the crossroads. We've been planning a trip out there to collect crossroad dirt, and I've been wanting to go out and collect wild thistle. So I'm just going to make it a 3-in-1 trip, and we're going to go out, and I'm going to, if I can find thistle out in that area, I'll go ahead and collect some thistle. It's in the woods. It's a crossroads in the woods. Collect some dirt, leave my offerings, and bury this jar at the crossroads. The problem is I'm not going to go to my father's house and throw hot foot powder on his porch, or throw it at his house, or I'm not going to leave it there. I really want to be done. I don't want to go to your house. I don't want to see you. I'm going to bury this at the crossroads and ask that it be taken care of that way. I'm really pissed off. I'm really pissed off. I don't know if you can tell. You probably can't really tell, but I'm pissed. I'm not hurt. I'm not going to cry about it. Like, I've been dealing with it for 40 years, but I'm really pissed off and I'm done. And it's time for me to do something about it. I've exhausted all the mundane, regular, everyday reality ways of dealing with the situation. So it's time for magic. Thanks for joining me, guys. Until next time, much love and gratitude.